Hey guys, welcome back for another video. What we're going to be doing is we'll be doing a complete breakdown of our Miami Hurricanes versus Georgia Tech game we have coming up for week 11 of the 2024 college football game. We are going to completely break down this matchup, look the teams over, and try to predict the outcome, who's going to win, who's going to lose, and what the final score will be. We'll also touch on the money lines, the spreads, and the over-under as well. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments about this game or anything else, drop it below and I will respond. Every week we go over every single college football game. We also do the same thing for every NFL game as well. And we also touch on the best bets for all of them, money lines, spreads, over-unders. If you're a football fan, if you're a sports fan, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe so you can follow along with us this season. The games are getting good. Miami right now is undefeated. College football poll just came out. Miami has solidified themselves as the number 4 team in the country. They are 9-0. ESPN November 9th. At 12 p.m., they'll be facing off first 5-4 Georgia Tech. You don't want to sleep on Georgia Tech. If you think you are, don't forget the fiasco last season. Mario Cristobal did not kneel the ball. They fumbled. Georgia Tech got the ball, threw a bomb, won the game. Miami has to make sure they get revenge. Georgia Tech didn't do anything to steal that game last season, but for a personal pride factor, you want to get revenge and you want to beat Georgia Tech bad to just make yourself feel better after that awful loss last season. One of the craziest calls I've ever seen, not kneeling the ball. But Mario has obviously learned from that because this season he's been kneeling when they have the game in hand. Coming into this game, Miami is the favorite, 11-point favorite. The over-under 63.5. There's going to be points scored in this game. Georgia Tech can move the ball. The biggest question is, what's the status of Haynes King? Is he going to be playing this game or is it going to be Pyron? If it's Pyron, obviously, that gives Miami a massive advantage. Until we get closer to game time, I'm not buying Pyron starting. I'm going to be rolling with Haynes King being the starter until then. So I'll be predicting it based off of Georgia Tech having their full roster there, just in case we don't want to take any chances. But Miami, we know they have the number 1 offense in the nation. Cameron Ward closing in on 3,200 yards, 29 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's tied right now for the most touchdowns in Miami history. He still has 3 games to go for the regular season, still has a potential ACC shot, and then also playoffs. He's going to be running up some stats. He's going to be breaking a lot of records. Right now, Miami, they're averaging 47.4 points a game. They're throwing for 380.3 yards, a top 3 passing offense, the number 1 total offense. They're running for 186.4. They can beat you passing the ball. They can beat you running the ball. They have a top 10 offensive line. When they're playing well, they get a lot of push, especially first quarter. They've been kind of slow out the gate the last probably 5 games, but their physicality wears you down second half. That's when they start to exterminate their dominance in the trenches. Obviously, that's Mario Cristobal's thing. He has Mirabel there. They're going to dominate at the line of scrimmage in the trenches. They're going to win that game. Right now, their defense is giving up 22.6 per game. That's not bad, but it's not good considering the amount of talent Miami has. They have a top 10 defensive line. They get a lot of quarterback pressures. They have the number 18 total defense in yards given up. The biggest issue for them is their secondary. Let's be honest, it's pretty bad. There's guys wide open the entire game. If Haynes King plays this game with Georgia Tech's natural running game they have, they're going to be able to hit those targets down the field. Miami has to hope they get enough of a lead to where they have the cushion to where they could potentially give up the big play. They're giving up 235.9 through the air. They're giving up 95.2 on the ground. They have a top 20 rush defense. It is hard to run on Miami, especially second half. After they made adjustments, they turn into a really tough defense. You have to run the score up first half and hope to hold it. But Miami's shown they are a really good second half team. Georgia Tech, though, do not sleep on this team. If it's Haynes King's playing, the guy can go vertical. He's also a mobile quarterback. But if he plays, he needs to be 100% healthy in order to play Miami blow for blow. This is a top 4 team in the nation. Not just a good team. This is a playoff national championship contending team. If it's Pyron does have turnover problems. Miami had a lot of turnovers this past weekend versus Duke. If the secondary plays better, if the defensive line gets pressure, they get a lot of quarterback pressure, but they have issues actually getting to the quarterback and getting that sack. If they can start the game out like that, they're going to force turnovers with the errant throws. Georgia Tech, they're averaging 27.7 a game. They throw for 247.8, so they can go vertical. Miami has to make sure they watch that secondary, and they run for 176.8 yards per game. A very successful running team. They can run downhill, but it's hard to run on Miami, and their defense also getting a 22.4 44 points per game. Looking at the playmakers here, Miami's obviously loaded. This is the number 10 overall roster according to ESPN. They have lots of talent. Obviously Ward, Martinez, Fletcher, Lyle, Allen, Restrepo, Horton, George, Arroyo, Williams. There's playmakers at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and they have a great offensive line. They're going to lean on that run. They're going to wear down Georgia Tech. You have to compete with Miami not for 1, 2, not 3, 4 quarters. You have to be able to hold up physicality-wise 4 quarters. Georgia Tech, if they have Haynes King playing, he's closing in on 1,600 yards. Jamal Haynes, a good running back when he's healthy, closing in on 600. Rutherford closing in on 600 through the air. So Miami's a pretty big favorite here. Those lines are going to move by the time that we get to kickoff time. Miami's been going over in a lot of their games. So what's my prediction? I have Miami staying undefeated. This game might be close for the first 2 quarters, but Miami's going to open up the floodgates second half. I have them winning this one 44-28. So that would be going with the over. That would be covering the spread. And of course, I have Miami winning. Can Georgia Tech steal this game? Yes, they stole it last year. They can steal it this year, but Miami's offense is the difference maker. It's much dramatically improved over last season. It's the best offense in the nation right now, let's be honest. So Miami wins it 44-28. They keep their eye on staying undefeated, making the ACC championship, and, their shot is still there to make the playoffs. So that's our breakdown and prediction for the Miami Hurricanes versus Georgia Tech game. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below and I will respond. Thank you.